Greetings, everybody! This is the Starving Martian, and you remember that total eclipse of the sun a couple of weeks ago? Well, I was walking in the wholesale comic district that day, and I passed by this place where an old Chinese man sometimes sells me weird and exotic trading cards, because he knows that YouTubing is my hobby. Well, he didn't have anything unusual there that day, so I was just about to, walk on by, when suddenly, and without warning, there was this total eclipse of the sun. That's right, we are looking at Little Shop of Horrors trading cards by Topps. The same company that puts out my beloved Mars Attacks trading cards. And back in 1986, they put this series out too. It's a tie-in, obviously, with the Little Shop of Horrors movie, the musical, starring Rick Moranis as Seymour Krelborn. And it's actually a very good trading card set. If you know the movie, you're going to like these cards. Not only does it go through the story pretty well, but it even gives you looks at deleted scenes and alternate endings, and we're going to cover all that. So if by some chance you have not seen this movie, and, I was talking to a few of my coworkers, and some people had no idea what it was. Pause the video right now and go and find yourself a copy and watch Little Shop of Horrors. You'll find several versions available. There's a really old version from the 60s. That's not the one we're looking for. We're looking for the one with Rick Moranis. And even that has at least two different DVD editions. The regular theatrical cut and the director's cut, which has the alternate ending. Personally, I recommend getting your hands on the theatrical cut. The director's cut is interesting, and it's good to see. It's good to know, especially if you're a fan of the film. But I prefer the original one, the theatrical one, the one that I grew up on, and that's the one that I would advise anyone who hasn't seen the film to start with. And if you enjoy the movie, then definitely hunt down the director's cut as well and see what the differences are. But as far as these cards go, there's only 44 in the set, which sounds like a small number for a trading card set, but they're each double-sided. See, a lot of the trading cards based on a movie will have a picture on one side and a story description on the other, but these ones have a story description right along with the picture, which we'll see in just a moment. And on the flip side, you get a sticker. And so here's Seymour Krelborn. Loco boy makes good. Oh, that's Seymour. He's so cray-cray. So yeah, this was always a good gimmick, the stickers on the other side. I love those because if you're collecting them pack by pack, it makes it more palatable to get a double because you could keep one in pristine condition and use the other one as an actual sticker. So here's card number 1 of Little Shop of Horrors, Topps Story Cards. And got a nice picture of Audrey 2, the man-eating plant, in infant form. And that's that. So, moving on to the next card. And so these are done in kind of a comic book style. There's text blocks, there's dialogue blocks, and it also does not shy away from the fact that this movie is a musical. And you can see our 3 girls here singing Little Shop of Horrors. And, I respect all you guys too much to actually sing myself. So if you know the song, sing along as the cards go through. And actually begins with the text on top that the movie begins with. I won't read all these cards, but this one is important. On the 23rd day of the month of September, in an early part of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. And so this is where the song would start. And on the flip side, we have the Skid Row Gazette. Sometime in the near future, Plant Wars. Audrey 2 attacks city, takes the A train. Alright, this is what I was talking about. This does not look familiar to you. It's because it's from the alternate ending. And when we get that far in the story, I'll explain more what the alternate ending's all about and why it came to pass and why you don't see it in the theatrical cut. But basically, in the alternate ending, the plant wins. And so that's what we're looking at here. The cards have an interesting and I think very effective way of portraying both endings. But we'll get to that a little later. And so here's Rick Moranis as Seymour Krelborn. And he's sweeping out the store at Skid Row, the downtown area he works at. And again, we have some of the lyrics to the Skid Row song. The lyrics, of course, are all indicated with musical notes, and they tend to be pretty spot on. They tend to be pretty accurate. Not all the dialogue is. Some of the dialogue is just kind of captures the essence of what was going on in the scene without being a direct quote. And on the back of that, we got a nice sticker of Audrey 2. It says Little Shop of Horrors. Nice, almost generic, sort of. Just if you need a sticker to represent the movie, it's a good one. And so here's our main attraction here. And that's that. So, moving right along, we meet Mr. Mushnick and Audrey. Seymour, of course, has quite a thing for Audrey, and Mr. Mushnick is his boss slash father figure slash slave driver. And what we got on the back, a boy's best friend is his Audrey too. So, not a lot of boys have best friends then, I suppose. Very sad. Speaking of Audrey too, here he is. In his baby form, in a cute little Maxwell House coffee cup. And by the way, it's interesting to note, if you go back and watch the movie, Maxwell House pops up a couple times. So either there was some product placement, or they just felt Maxwell House was a major brand back in the 60s where the movie takes place. So here's Seymour trying to figure out what his plant eats. Okay, back of the card. There's a sticker, another one, Little Shop of Horrors with a picture of a plant, and this is obviously not the plant from the movie. This is a drawing, this is an illustration, and I'm almost positive this one is based on the Little Shop of Horrors Broadway play. Now, if you're not familiar with the franchise, started off as a movie in the 60s, and Roger Corman movie, I believe, and in the 80s became a musical play, and eventually hit Broadway. And the plant in the play looks a little bit different than the plant in the movie. And one of the differences is that it's more of a yellow. And you see the yellow bulb there. And a lot of the promotional material for the play features this more yellowish plant. So I think this might have been ripped directly from some promotional material from the play. Or might have been inspired by it. I'm not sure. Alright, how many trading card series gives you flashbacks? So this is Seymour talking about the district, the wholesale flower district that he happened to be on during the total eclipse of the sun. And he was about to walk on by, and suddenly the sun goes out, and when it comes back, there's a strange, mysterious plant just sitting there, just waiting for him to buy it. There's one that says, "I never forget a face." And, yeah, Audrey is clearly not looking at a face there. That pathetic little weed is going to save our shop. Don't worry, Mr. Mushnick. I'll nurse it back to health, I promise. Important story point, but kind of a boring card. Alright. On the back, we get Steve Martin as the leader of the plaque. The dentist, the sadistic dentist who gets off on the pain he's able to inflict upon his patients and upon his girlfriend. He's a despicable character, and yet you can't help but enjoy. Steve Martin definitely looked like he was having a good time filming the film, and so he became one of the better remembered characters with good reason. So Seymour accidentally discovers that his plant eats blood. Here he is giving it a couple drops. And on the back, Mr. Mushnik about to have an unpleasant encounter. Yeah, so the cards, they go chronologically, they go in story order, but when you flip them over to the sticker side, not so much. So it's kind of a spoiler for later, but it's here now. Speaking of Mr. Mushnik, here he is, starring in his own card here. Who would have thought? I'm getting rich, all because of that cockamamie plant. So they kind of set him up in the cards a little earlier as an unsympathetic character than they do in the movie. So when he gets his comeuppance later, it's well deserved. And can it happen? Yikes! Yeah, another hint of the alternate ending. Speaking of alternate endings, here's well, this is not an alternate ending, but it is an alternate reality in a way. This is Audrey dreaming about the life she and Seymour might have, because, her current boyfriend kind of beats her up. It's not a good thing. And she likes Seymour, but he doesn't know she likes him. It's kind of sad. So this is her dreaming about someday in the future, when they have little kids of their own, and a dog. And back of this car says, smile. Big old smile. Kind of looks like Audrey too is getting ready to go to the dentist there. But no, she's actually waiting for the dentist to come to her. And here we have the dentist. Orvin Scrivello. Never pronounced that right. Him and his motorcycle. And here's Seymour. If you ever wanted to know how to spell Seymour, there, now you can. And he doesn't look all that happy. His plant hasn't even started eating people yet, and already he's not pleased with it. When you have a plant that sucks blood out of your fingertips, that's a warning sign. That's nature's way of saying destroy this thing. And so here's our dentist friend again in the office. If your dentist ever enters the door in that pose, run. And he's singing his dentist song as he comes in. I thrill when I drill a bicuspid. It's swell, though they tell me I'm maladjusted. Yes, my friend, you certainly are. And so are we for loving you so much. And the back of the card, a simple, feed me. And that's a good sticker as well. So, Seymour's not that impressed with Audrey's boyfriend, but he's also a bit intimidated by him. What's he gonna do? And here's another good sticker. That would go good on a big plastic thermos lunchbox thing. And our last card for today. The plant reveals to Seymour that it can talk and demands that it feed him. Feed me, Krellborn. And here's Seymour musing that Audrey deserves a prince and not a sadistic creep. And so he's down on the boyfriend, he's down on the dentist, and the plant is asking for food, for blood, for more blood than Seymour can squeeze from his fingers. And that can't be a good combination. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like Seymour's like, I love you this much. This is probably just some part of the dance routine during one of the songs, but it looked kind of silly. And yeah, we're going to end there for today. Don't miss part 2 of Little Shop of Horrors from Topps. It's we're getting to some interesting cards, some stuff that didn't make it into the film, so I hope you stick around for that. I hope you've enjoyed this look at this rather good trading card series. We'll come back next time with part 2, but until then, as I always say, keep watching the skies, especially during total eclipses of the sun. Later.